Hey everyone, MacAndSwiss here, and today we're going to be looking over two of some of the more common viruses that has been going around the Roblox community in the past couple of months. So this one in particular is a little bit newer in terms of my own personal radar, and it definitely is a little bit less suspicious than the other two methods. Now, what you'll typically get is a Discord message from a random user asking you about putting your avatar in some sort of graphics or in their game, and they will link you to a video such as this one. Now, in this particular video, they will tell you to paste some sort of command into your address bar, and then remove the first part, and then press enter. Now, what this actually does is not give you the avatar and send it to them. No, it actually takes your cookies and sends it to them. Shocking, I know, right? But this is one of the more covert ways to get someone's cookies, as I've seen, because this is less suspicious. It's just, oh, just type something in your address bar, right? You don't really think too much about it. And I wish I actually had access to the website now, but that domain actually got taken down for abuse a couple of days ago. But what it basically did was it evaluated a function that was hidden in a sort of, not necessarily encryption, but it was in some different language called base64, so that even if you were to go onto the website, you would see just a bunch of jumbled up numbers, letters, and characters, and you wouldn't necessarily know what it actually did unless you knew it was base64 and actually translated it back. So the second thing that I want to show today is a little bit more of a different one. Now, the reason why I actually ended up finding out about this one is because of the Roblox RTC, so I had to say a pretty big shout out to them for pointing this out to me. And this was definitely one of the more interesting ones to spot. Now, the tweet basically reads that there are new scams, don't click on any links, pretty standard stuff. What's more interesting is the website itself. And now I'm going to transition over to that actual website. So give me one moment. So now we are on the actual website. It looks a little bit familiar, doesn't it? Well, it turns out that this particular website actually straight up just copies the HTML for one of Roblox's pages and just pastes it into their own hosting service. Now, at first glance, nothing seems particularly suspicious about this website in particular, beyond the fact that the domain is completely off. What's more interesting is when you click on login, and I'll go straight into inspect elements right now. When you go into the HTML that's actually ran, everything seems pretty straightforward until you get to the end and you look at what the login function actually does. And boy oh boy, it's not what you expect. And so this in particular straight up points to this function right here, which listens for three particular fields, which is the username, the password, and obviously the login button itself. Now, when the login button is actually clicked, what it does is that it actually sends a post request. And basically what a post request does is that it just writes some sort of information to a specific URL, which in this case is actually a link to a Discord webhook. Now, at first glance, it doesn't seem like there's much that you can do here. But when you have the full link to the webhook, it turns out that you can do some pretty fun things. So for the better half of a day or so, pretty much around 4 to 6 hours or so, I ended up learning how Node.js works in order to send requests to Discord with fake information, exactly modeled as the exploiters, I guess, had it. So it was username and password in the exact same format, sent straight to their webhook. And another thing that I did, you can @ everyone through webhooks, but at the end of the day, I mean, like, it was still being a nuisance, right? It was still being an annoyance to people, and it was definitely probably still scraping accounts from people. So one of the things that I found out about the Discord API is that if you don't necessarily need to have permissions in order to delete a specific webhook, as long as you have the token. And actually, if you searched up this token when it was alive, it gave you everything that you needed. So I just filed a delete request through the webhook, and that was that. And that was the end of it. And the webhook was no longer functioning, even though it still is the exact same on the website. And I mean, I thought that I was all being slick and like doing the Lord's work and all that stuff, but it turns out that someone probably beat me to the punch at this specific thing. I checked back on the tweet a while later after I ended up deleting the webhook, and it turns out that another person by the name of Hoofer actually did pretty much the exact same thing with a lot less code as well. If I go specifically to their replit, it's a much more sleek sort of system. But yeah, huge shout out to Huffer as well to getting around to that. And one more thing before we go, and that is just what to do if you have accidentally clicked on one of these, or have installed something, or just need to, or just feel unsafe, I guess, in general. One of the things, the most basic things that you can do is just to log out of your account and log back in. That should refresh some of the more secure things like your Roblox security, so more the internal stuff. And then if you want to, you can also go into your browser settings. In my particular case, I'm using the Brave browser. You would typically search up something like clear. So you would go into clear browsing data, and then you would click on cookies and other site data, and then you would click on clear data. But that's going to be it from me today. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, my name is MacAndSwiss, the most Asian brony on the internet, and I will see you all next time.